He touched the necklace. That's it. That's literally all Eric Andre did. He reached out, tapped a piece of jewelry that had been handed over about 90 seconds earlier, and within moments he was lying flat in a WWE ring getting splashed, not once, but twice, by a 290-pound Samoan werewolf, while Roman Reigns stood at ringside grinning like he just watched the funniest thing in the world. Let's talk about it, because this segment might be the most chaotic 5 minutes WWE has produced all year. So here's the setup, and you need the full context to appreciate how wild this got. June 15th, Monday Night Raw, Baltimore, Maryland, CFG Bank Arena. The show opens, not buried in the middle, not some afterthought, the literal cold open of Raw, with Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and Jacob Fatu standing in the ring together. And there's tension immediately because Fatu has spent weeks being the problem child. He doesn't fall in line, he doesn't respect the chain of command, he's basically been operating like a free agent who happens to wear a Bloodline armband. Jey Uso, fresh off his King of the Ring run, decides this is the moment to address it. He tells Fatu, in front of everybody, that he needs to start showing respect to him, to Jimmy, to the actual structure of the group. And Fatu just shuts that down cold. He looks Jey dead in the eye and says something to the effect of, "The only person I acknowledge is my OTC, Roman Reigns, not the Usos, not the twins who've been running this faction in some form for years, just Roman." Now you'd think that's disrespectful, right? You'd think Roman might side with his actual cousins over the new guy. But that's not what happens. Roman looks at this whole exchange and decides Fatu's defiance isn't a problem, it's exactly what he wants. He tells him the family doesn't need another yes man standing around nodding at everything, and then, right there in the ring, Roman pulls out a brand new ulafala. That's the ceremonial necklace for anybody who doesn't know, the one that's basically become the visual symbol of Bloodline membership going all the way back to the start of this storyline, and he puts it around Jacob Fatu's neck. Official induction. Live, in the ring, in front of the entire arena. Jacob Fatu is now, officially, on paper, a made member of the Bloodline. And for a second, it's actually kind of a sweet moment if you can believe that. Fatu's worked an incredibly long road to get to this spot in WWE. He's been positioned as the most dangerous, most unpredictable presence on the roster for months now, and this is him finally getting the validation from the guy at the very top of the food chain. The Usos, despite everything, even salute Roman alongside Fatu. It looks like a moment of unity. That lasts about 90 seconds, because as the group starts heading up the ramp to leave, they pass by the front row. And sitting right there is Eric Andre. Yes, that Eric Andre, the comedian, the guy from his own ridiculous late-night show, currently doing the press rounds because he's got a movie called Little Brother coming out on Netflix with John Cena. He's there as a celebrity guest, just enjoying the show, doing what celebrities do at WWE events, soaking up the atmosphere, getting a little camera time. Roman sees him and greets him enthusiastically, big smile, dap him up, no issue there. Jimmy Uso shakes his hand too, friendly, no problem.
Jey Uso, on the other hand, makes eye contact with Andre and just completely blows him off, doesn't even acknowledge him, which, if you know Jey's character at all, is exactly on brand. Classic Jey, dismissive as ever. But then Eric Andre, clearly just trying to have his moment, trying to get involved in the fun of it all, reaches out and touches the ulafala hanging around Jacob Fatu's neck. The necklace that Fatu had been wearing for, at this point, maybe 2 minutes total? Huge mistake. Astronomical mistake. Fatu spins around and gives this man a look that could curdle milk, and before anyone in that arena can process what's about to happen, he reaches over the barricade, grabs Eric Andre like he weighs absolutely nothing, and hauls him bodily into the ring. And I want to stress, Andre is not a wrestler, he's a comedian. He is now, suddenly, in the middle of a WWE ring with one of the most physically dominant performers on the roster, and Fatu starts unloading headbutts on him while the entire building loses its mind. Real referees and real producers come flooding into the ring trying to get this under control because, from a pure presentation standpoint, this needed to look like it had genuinely spiraled out of the planned segment, and it absolutely sold that feeling. For a moment, it looks like Roman is going to be the voice of reason here. Hand up, calming gesture, the kind of thing you'd expect from the veteran leader trying to rein in his guy before it goes too far. Nope. Roman looks at Fatu, looks at Andre crumpled on the canvas, and tells him to go back up top and finish it. By the way, if you're new to this channel, do yourself a favor and hit subscribe and tap that notification bell, because we cover moments exactly like this every single week, and you do not want to be finding out about this stuff a day late on your timeline. So Fatu climbs to the top rope and connects with a full Samoan splash on a non-wrestler in the center of the ring. You'd think, okay, surely that's the end of it. Surely Roman's satisfied. Surely somebody steps in now. Roman sends him back up there for a second one. A second full Samoan splash on Eric Andre, while Roman Reigns stands at ringside with this ice-cold grin on his face, clearly enjoying every second of it. And that's the detail that really sells how this character has evolved. This isn't the Roman from a few years ago who'd pull his guys back and play the measured tactician. This is a version of Roman who actively wants the chaos, who's almost feeding off it. Meanwhile, off to the side, the cameras catch Jey Uso's face during all of this, and it is not a good look. It's the face of a man doing math in real time, realizing his cousin just handed full membership and total protection to an absolute live wire who will apparently maul a celebrity guest because he tapped some jewelry. You can practically see Jey thinking, this man is unstable, and Roman just put our entire family name behind him. After it's all over, WWE medics rush down to help Andre to the back as the show heads to commercial. And the segment closes with Roman delivering this chilling little promo about what happens to anybody who tries to push the bloodline too far.
Now, I do want to be clear about something here, because the second this went up online, there were people genuinely convinced Fatu had a real shoot moment and lost control for real. He didn't. This was a planned, scripted angle from top to bottom. Eric Andre knew exactly what he signed up for walking in. The referees and producers rushing the ring were playing their assigned roles. WWE's own social accounts were posting hype clips of the attack within minutes, calling it shocking and unbelievable, which is not the kind of promotion you do for something that actually went off script. This was pro wrestling storytelling, executed about as well as it can be executed because it had a huge chunk of the internet legitimately questioning whether they just watched something real. And honestly, that's exactly why it works so well as a piece of television. Jacob Fatu's entire character has been built around the idea that he's a barely controlled force, somebody who doesn't operate inside normal bloodline rules, somebody whose loyalty to Roman specifically is the only thing keeping him from being a total wild card. WWE just proved that in the most visceral way they possibly could, by having him completely demolish a famous guest on national television for something as small as touching a necklace. And think about where this leaves the ongoing story. Eric Andre is reportedly going to appear in that upcoming Street Fighter movie alongside Roman Reigns and current WWE champion Cody Rhodes, so there's a decent chance this isn't just a one-off segment. There could easily be a follow-up angle, a wink during the movie's press tour, or WWE simply mining this for more viral clips down the line. And inside the bloodline itself, the stakes just changed. Jey Uso has spent years being painted as the rebellious one, the guy who pushes back against Roman's authority. Now there's a new member who makes Jey's rebellion look like a parking ticket by comparison. Where does that leave Jimmy and Jey standing going forward? Does Fatu become the new enforcer Roman leans on above his own cousins? Does this create the kind of internal wedge that's blown this faction apart multiple times already? Because let's be honest, the bloodline has imploded and reformed something like 4 separate times at this point, and every single version of that story has been must-watch television. Throwing a genuine wildcard like Fatu into that mix, a guy who just splashed a Netflix actor twice on live TV over a piece of jewelry, that's not stability, that's a countdown clock. So here's my actual question for you, and I want real answers in the comments. Do you think Jacob Fatu eventually turns on Roman the exact same way Jey did a few years back? Or is this guy too grateful, too loyal to the man who just handed him everything to ever bite that hand? Let me know, because I genuinely read every comment on these. And before you go, if this channel has been your weekly Bloodline breakdown spot, do me a solid and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It genuinely helps more than you'd think, and it means you catch the next breakdown the second something this unhinged happens again. Eric Andre is probably rethinking ever touching that necklace. Jey Uso is probably rethinking a lot of things right now. And Roman Reigns is sitting back, smiling, because chaos is exactly where he wants his family business to live.